What's up everybody, my name is Carl, and today is the finale of the car aesthetic series. Today I'm going to talk to you about what I think are the 6 best looking cars of the 50s. The 50s did have some really hideous creations such as the Tatra 603 and the BMW Isetta. But it wasn't all bad because the 50s also had some really incredible looking cars that would shape the car industry forever. So for one last time, I'll be picking 6 different categories of car from this era to make it more fair and interesting. These are convertible, SUV, small car, GT or luxury car, super or sports car, and then we have general car, which can vary from anything to a small car to a hyper GT. And of course, this is my opinion alone, you might have a different view, and if that's the case, feel free to participate by commenting down below your picks for what you think the 6 best looking cars from the 50s are. Without further ado, let's begin, starting with the best looking convertible from the 50s, which goes to the 1957 Ford Thunderbird. Whenever I think of Ford in the 50s, this is what I imagine. Look at how incredible this car looks. It's amazing. It's crazy to think that the same company that designed this and various other amazing looking cars designed something as bad as that Edsel Citation convertible. The front end of this car is very simple but straightforward. 2 circular headlights which are sculpted into the body and a normal shaped grille which is encompassed into this chrome lip piece. The design is very smart and classy, which is basically what the whole car is about. The entirety of the shape is symmetrical and looks very smooth, especially when you look at it from a side profile. I love seeing the various creases and lines that are embedded into the body of the car. It gives it substance. I think the rear end of the car is one of my favourite things about it. The retro fins really work on the Thunderbird. It gives the car personality and depth. The circular rear taillights are integrated into them really well and actually have this retro aesthetic to them. Man, Ford really did a lot of things right with this car. I can totally understand why it was so popular. It's a classic, an ultra cool classic with some really fantastic retro styling. I wish we had more cars styled like this today. Moving on to the best looking SUV or family car of the 50s, which goes to the 1954 Chevrolet Bel Air wagon. Oh come on, this is a wagon, and man, a great looking one at that. The one thing I dislike about this particular version I got images of is probably the wood panel slats on the boot. Fortunately, not all Bel Air wagons came with this, so it's all good, and in fact, a lot better to look at. I love how it still has that low-slung hot rod front end. It's definitely an iconic design with an aggressive face and overall great proportions. The central hood area gives it that muscular aesthetic, and it certainly looks as if it houses a beast of an engine. I love the side profile of this car. You could definitely see the asymmetry of the shape, but I suppose it's designed this way as it's a wagon or an estate to accommodate for more space. The Bel Air wagon nods to streamlining with this cool curved feature in front of the rear wheel arches. It's integrated well into the body of the car. That's how you're supposed to do streamlining, Nash. Now on to the best looking small car of the 50s, which goes to the 1959 Fiat 500. I would have picked the Mini until I realised that I picked it already for the 60s list, but that's okay because I picked what I think is second best, and it's definitely an equally iconic and cool car. The design itself is very minimalistic, but very clean. It has pretty excellent proportions front to end, and not to mention looks like a small car, whereas today's modern day equivalents are massive. I like the overall form of the 500. It's like the shape of a bubble. It has subtle small curves from the front and the back, giving it this consistent design. I like how the bonnet or hood of the car is neat and tidy, with no jagged or awkward lines. It's curved and flat, which coincides well with the form of the car. The whole car has an approachable aesthetic. It's got soft rounded features from the headlights, grille, and not to mention the overall form of the car. It also has this fun playfulness too, with the cloth retractable roof. Overall, the Fiat 500 is certainly worthy of being an icon, an affordable and usable car that also has a smart but approachable design. Now onto the best looking GT/luxury car of the 50s, which goes to the 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. Oh yeah, this is it. This is a beautiful car. One of the all-time greats, another iconic car. This car embodies streamlining to an absolute T. It's fantastic. It has these really bold bone lines on the bonnet or hood of the car that emphasizes this, as well as giving this car a muscular look. As well as this, the 300 SL has these interesting streamline-esque wheel arches, which certainly adds to the presence of the car. Despite this, the car still has a somewhat soft appearance. The rounded roof and rear curved end, as well as the long sweeping bonnet, definitely shows this. It also works as this car is a luxury GT car. It's very elegant. Of course, with this being the 300 SL, we can't not talk about those magnificent gull-wing doors. The unique party piece of this car, and for sure the most iconic thing about it too. They definitely highlight the Merc's elegance and boldness to be different. It really transforms the car and it helps set it apart from its competitors. I love how they brought these doors back with the mighty SLS. And now onto the best looking super or sports car of the 50s, which goes to the 1954 Maserati A6 GCS Berlinetta. This is an example of what happens when you tell Pininfarina what you want and pay them properly. An absolutely stunning car. It has these really wonderful long sweeping curves that begin from the front end of the car with the headlights, which flows smoothly into the bodywork. It's also featured at the rear end of the car too, which gives it this nicely proportioned and continuous shape. The iconic Maserati logo sits in this beautiful curved grille, which is integrated into the form of the front end quite nicely. It's as if it's an essential part of the car, like there was thought and intention behind it. That's probably something you can't say about the ugly Nash Healey I showed last time. There's just something so elegant about the way this car looks. It's flawless. Looking at this car from various angles, it's hard to find anything wrong with it. And finally, onto the best looking car in general of the 50s. This goes to the 1958 Ferrari 250 GT California long wheelbase Spider. I had to end this series with a Ferrari, and I think personally I picked the right one because, well, just look at it. It's absolutely beautiful. This car wasn't designed to be a low-slung sports car to tackle lap times at racetracks. It was set up to be a two-seater open-top GT car for cruising down the coastlines of California, and it definitely looks the part for it. The front end of the car is very smooth and attractive. It has these elliptical glass headlight covers that add a lot of class to the front, alongside a simple but smart grille, which houses two additional lights. I like how the front end is a long sweeping curved form, which definitely highlights that this is definitely a GT car, as it goes into this short but raked windscreen. The rear end is a stark contrast, with these subtle but sharp fins that house the tail lights. The rear curves into the body of the car, which still makes it both magnificent and consistent in appearance. The side profile of this car looks incredible. It really makes you stop and admire the beautiful bodywork. I like the sharp bone line that runs from one wheel arch to the next. You definitely can tell that this car is special. Even if it's simple, it surely has elegance, which is what this Ferrari is all about. It's certainly the car you want to appear in for that long drive in the sunshine, with the wind in the hair and miles of tarmac to yourself. This is that car, and it looks absolutely amazing. So in conclusion, those were my picks for what I thought were the 6 best looking cars in the 50s. But what do you guys think? Comment down below your picks for what you think the 6 best looking cars in the 50s are, using the 6 car category list, which consists of convertible, SUV, small car, GT or luxury car, super or sports car, and general car. And let me know what you think of my choices as well. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!